Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Overtime. Donald Trump has threatened now the third country in roughly 30 days that he said he is going, at least considering attacking, in this case, Nigeria. We're going to show you the social media post in a minute. He and Pete Hegseth seem to have had a conversation about it over social media. Hegseth replied, yes, sir, he would prepare the Pentagon for said attack. Whether the attack was actually ordered, or sorry, the preparations were ordered on social media, which it kind of appears they were, whether this was just kabuki theater and they afterwards, Hegseth said, sir, yes, sir, just for the audience, I don't know. But this is while we are on standby for an attack on Venezuela. At this point, we believe that an attack on Venezuela is imminent. There are signs that the military is preparing to launch an attack, and we expect an attack will come at any time. This also would, of course, distract from the problems we discussed yesterday. If you haven't seen our video on both the SNAP benefits and the Obamacare subsidies and what is happening with the expiration of those, you may want to check that out. As of today, 3 million people roughly seem to, we don't know what every state has done. Some states are making up the difference, but roughly 3 million appear to have not received any of their SNAP benefits. We expect that to go up to, I believe it's 17 million by the 5th. We have on our Discord a graph showing at what rate the people will be failing to receive their SNAP benefits, but it's obviously a very big problem. It's obviously it and many of the other concerns over the government shutdown and the Epstein files are all things Trump would like to see a distraction from. So out of the blue, Nigeria, what did Trump say? Let's get into this because this is there's actual nuance to this, and it's extraordinarily important. So roughly 4 hours ago, Donald Trump said, if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. And may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns ablazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. I am hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet. Just like the terrorist thugs attacking our cherished Christians. Warning, the Nigerian government better act fast. Holy shit. Sweet. He's losing his mind. He's actually been anti-war. We've given him credit for being anti-war. He has not stopped 7 wars, but he's been anti-war in general. The idea that an attack is going to be sweet reminds me of what we learned when we saw the signal chat between Hegseth and a number of other cabinet members, and they were all fist-pumping how many people they're going to kill as they attack other countries. The murder of bin Laden was not sweet. It was necessary. It was the attack on and obliteration of Al-Qaeda was necessary. Same with ISIS and ISIS/ISIL. None of it is sweet. And if you think it's sweet, you probably should not be running this country. And if you think it's sweet and aren't smart enough to realize you shouldn't say that in a tweet, you probably have dementia. That notwithstanding, this tweet is an obvious violation of the First Amendment. The concern that he shares is not human rights. The concern that he has is not the killing of Americans. The concern that he has is not the killing of innocent people. It's the killing of Christians. The President of the United States has now essentially declared that the United States is a weapon of Christianity, and that we are to be used to protect Christians in other countries, and if we protect them, eventually we will be killing for them. Now, I would like to remind people of the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law representing an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people to peaceably assemble or to petition the government for redress of grievances. Now, this has, despite it saying Congress, does apply to the executive branch, and the president is not permitted to use the military in a religious fashion. He is without a doubt violating the First Amendment of the Constitution, because by his own admission, his sole motivation is to protect Christians. He also said, in fact, actually, let me see if I can find it, because he referred to the Christians as our people, and that too, Christians aren't America's people. Let me see if I can find. All right. Well, before we get to that, why Nigeria? That's a very good question. Christian persecution is bad there, but not worse than it is in other countries, especially predominantly Muslim ones. The president of Nigeria has come out, and Nigeria has roughly 220 million people, making it smaller than the U.S. by about a third, but still an extraordinarily large country. 220 million. Now, it is split roughly 50-50 Christian and Muslim. A number of the Muslim organizations, such as Boko Haram, which you have most likely heard of, are terrorist organizations. Boko Haram absolutely targets and murders Christians. However, it also targets and murders Muslims, especially Muslims that aren't members. One of the things in terms of collateral damage when it comes to any operation that they engage in against the government in particular as well, they say that the death of any Muslim during such an operation is not a sin if they haven't already joined Boko Haram, because they are not a real Muslim. So it's actually perfectly fine to kill Muslims in their view. On occasion, as part of their jihad, they target Muslims who are refusing to join their organization. And yes, they target Christians as well. In terms of the total violence in Nigeria, there are more Muslims being killed and murdered over land as a result of various factions fighting each other, most of them Muslim factions, than there are Christians being killed. But there are Christians being killed in significant, noticeable quantities, and they are being targeted for being Christian, just as a number of other Muslims are being targeted for being the wrong kind of Muslim. The president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has said that he is very concerned about religious violence, that Nigeria is open to all religions. Quote, "Religious freedom and tolerance have been a core tenet of our collective identity and shall always remain so. Nigeria opposes religious persecution and does not encourage it. Thus far that we can tell, and that I'm aware of, the president is telling the truth. Having said that, he does not have full control of his country, and there are armed militias that are, in fact, engaged in targeting Christians. Nigeria is a country with constitutional guarantees to protect citizens of all faiths." Nonetheless, yesterday, Trump declared Nigeria a country of concern, which allows him to issue sanctions. We're going to put up this quote from the Associated Press, where they quote what he said yesterday. "Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Racial Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. He did that yesterday, which allows him to enable sanctions. He has not yet done that, but if you look at today's post, he is threatening sanctions. This is actually, I'm sorry, it is terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. Excuse me, whose cherished Christians? The United States' cherished Christians? We have the separation of church and state. We are not a Christian country. We do not defend Christianity. We do not attack Christianity. And Christians are not cherished. Americans are cherished, not Christians. If you're a Christian American, you are just as cherished as an atheist American, as a Muslim American, as any American. This is, just obvious, in my view, pandering to Christians, but he has, of course, been the first president to add a faith office. But he is basically saying that the U.S. military's job is to defend Christianity. I would like to draw your attention to this quote from yesterday. His complaint in this quote is not about people. He doesn't say too many Christians are dying in Nigeria. Oh my God. And by the way, if he really wants to stop people from dying, he should be aware that every 7 seconds a ostensibly Christian child in South Africa, sorry, not in South Africa, in Africa, dies of starvation every 7 seconds. The entire continent of Africa was Pope John Paul II's mission, and the most successful mission in Catholic Church's history, to convert the continent to Catholicism. It's been so successful that the lack of family planning and birth control has led to it going from having a 2% AIDS rate to a 60% AIDS rate. 40% of all AIDS cases in the world are in Africa. The number of Christians dying in sorry, they're black, I forgot. Never mind. Let's take Africa off the table and get back to, well, of course, Nigeria is, so that joke doesn't land quite as well as I thought, because he does want to go in Nigeria. But again, what I find interesting here is he doesn't talk about the people. What is facing an existential threat is Christianity. This is not a threat of war. This is a threat of crusade. It's been said, and I saw somebody had said this in the live chat before we started, we're going on a crusade. Yeah, that's what it looks like. We are going to defend not people, but Christianity. Quote, Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Islamists are responsible for mass slaughter. Oh, well, now he mentions the people. But it's Christianity that he talks about first. The faith. That's interesting and is extraordinarily concerning. It's the weaponization of the U.S. military to protect the Christian faith. It is astonishing. It is utterly unprecedented. Pete Hegseth has confirmed on social media that he is preparing the so-called Department of War to attack Nigeria. Trump has said that the president has a short period of time to stop these attacks on Christians. The president will be unable to meet any deadline. These attacks have also happened against the government. They are trying to stop it. There is a rebellion in the south. The north is actually where, if I recall correctly, most of the Muslim population is. They are constantly fighting with each other, fighting with the south, and it's a god-awful mess. Nigeria is, as a country, doing its best to stop it. Right now, the U.S. committed to Venezuela committed to the number of wars. I am thankful that Donald Trump made it a cornerstone of his campaign to stop U.S. interventionist policies and to stop the U.S. invading other countries, because, dear God, if he wanted to do that, I'd hate to see where we'd be today. You think it's bad? Imagine if he wanted to do this. So we'll see. I think he's preparing to do drone strikes, something symbolic. My suspicion is he's going to do something. I doubt he's going to commit us in any meaningful way. He seems to suggest he is absolutely willing to do it. I will put this back up one more time. But Trump is full of bluster. So, how to take this seriously, I think, is up to the individual, or how seriously to take it. I take it seriously enough to say to you that I suspect we will attack elements of Nigeria. We will claim that those elements are Boko Haram. We may or may not be telling the truth. Past that, my guess is we will forget and move on. We seem to have a short memory, as does Trump, but I don't know. I do believe we will also do some form of sanctions, as based on yesterday's declaration that they were a country of concern. But make no mistake, the president has made no effort to hide the fact that in his mind this is about the protection of Christians, not Americans. This is not a humanitarian effort. This is a crusade by every definition. I am not using hyperbole. This is what a crusade is. It's a Christian crusade. It is absolutely astonishing, and one of the most astonishing things I think I have ever reported on this show. What will come of it, we will see. Dunk on You, $20. Trumpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Trumpty Dumpty showed he had no balls. Slava Ukraine. Royam Slava. Thank you, Dunk on You, for your support. We really appreciate it. So thank you, sir. Dunk on You also gifted 5 memberships. I know a few people who have wanted memberships who haven't been able to afford them. Thanked you last time, and it's the people, we've seen them around, we know they're there, and I know they appreciate it as well. So thank you. Daedalus Media, $2. If only there was some kind of refugee program, yeah, or U.S. aid, or anything that could help. But that's the other interesting thing which is he's not interested. There are refugees in Nigeria, and there are people trying to get out, and there are people who are starving to death, and the country is a mess. And we have no interest in fixing it. We're just going to kill people. Now, Boko Haram is a horrific organization, and I think that the death of any of them probably eases suffering in the world in general. They are a brutal organization and terrorist group. Still, it's the sudden interest in, and what Trump is interested in. He's like a ferret, who's doing a line of cocaine after having 1,200 pounds of Starbucks morning blend. It's just. I thought we were talking about Venezuela, and as I said before, and we will be hitting Venezuela probably within the next 24 hours, quite possibly within the next 4. So we're on standby for that. And while we're doing that, we're talking about hitting Nigeria, of all places, and to protect Christians. It's not for U.S. interests. He doesn't mention any U.S. interests at all. Not for gold, not for resources that the U.S. needs. Not even bad U.S. interests, just for Christians. So, that's where we stand. We will see what happens. Thank you all so much for joining us. We will have our next regularly scheduled show on Tuesday. You and I both know we're not making it till Tuesday, but Tuesday 9 p.m. as Andring will be joining us for our regularly scheduled in time. Until then, please do like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all. And I know, look, YouTube has never been great about notifications. So if you go to our Discord, we always at everybody on our Discord when we go live. That's a great way to know if you're not getting the notifications through YouTube. We will be going live at some point reasonably soon. We anticipate with news that we have attacked Venezuela. We've already attacked a number of boats that still nobody has been able to show any evidence that they were anything other than fishing boats. So we've committed a number of murders, and it looks like we're going to be doing that in Nigeria reasonably soon. So thank you all again for joining us, and we will talk to you soon. Have a good night.